Hey everybody, and welcome to Lindsay's Little Library. I'm back again with another book list Thursday. This is something I do in conjunction with Lisa from Books and Smiles and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand. They are the original creators of this Thursday event, and I have joined forces with them recently, and I'm so excited to give you some recommendations. And this Thursday, this subject it's my jam, you guys. It is historical fiction recommendations. Oh my gosh, I have spent so much time trying to whittle this down to only like 5 books. That's kind of what we aim for. I couldn't do it. So I've whittled it down to 5 historical times that I like to read about. How does that work? Sound good? Just go with it, right? So, my all-time favorite historical time or period that I love to read about is World War II historical fiction. I don't know why I always seem to gravitate towards it, and honestly I haven't even brought up all of my books, but I grabbed kind of my top 4. And I don't have The Book Thief in here either, but I have that borrowed to a friend, but The Book Thief for sure is in this pile. So is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Oh man, see, this is why. Just bear with me. So I'm gonna go with the 4 that I grabbed for this specific time period. Sarah's Key by Tatiana Dorozny. Oh geez. This is July 1942. This does have dual time periods, but it really focuses on what Sarah, who's 10, is taken with her parents by the French police when France was being occupied by the Germans. They were a Jewish family. What is sad is that she knew what was happening, so she locked her brother in the cupboard, and they all left her brother in the cupboard. Oh, really great story though. Gotta pick this up. It was fabulous. I loved it. Next one I loved was Secrets of a Charmed Life by Susan Meisner. This takes place in London during World War II. So it follows sisters, again dual time periods, so you're going back and forth, but really focusing on London. Follows sisters who as children were again sent away from London during the Blitz. The one sister ends up coming back. London gets bombed. It's crazy, it's insane, and it's lovely and wonderful and fantastic. Pick that up. Next one, World War II historical fiction. There's a couple. So it's Rudis Apetti's Salt of the Sea, as well as Between Shades of Grey. Between Shades of Grey follows a Lithuanian mother, daughter, and maybe brother, who are taken by the Soviets and taken out of Lithuania. This follows another Lithuanian girl who is a refugee. She's fleeing. So this is towards the end of World War II. They're fleeing to kind of the docks. Basically the only way out of kind of Poland, Lithuania, Prussia, some came from Germany, is through the Baltic Sea. That's the only way they can get away, because we've got the Soviets over here, we've got the Nazis saying don't leave, it's fine over here, and people trying to get out. So this follows the story of the Wilhelm Gustloff, and it sinks. That's not a spoiler, but the story leading up to it is so beautiful. I flew through this book. It was fabulous. And then the next one is probably my favorite historical fiction ever, because this really made me think. And of course, because it's Jodie, but it's a storyteller. This follows, it's got some dual timelines going on here, but Sage has a bakery and she gets to know a lot of the regulars that come in, and one of the regulars is Joseph, and he is loved by all, like loved by all. He was a teacher at the school. Every student loved him. No one has a bad thing to say about him. He's the most polite man in the world, and they developed this really great friendship. And there's one night where Joseph confides in Sage and says, "I need you to kill me." What the heck's going on, Joseph? He was a Nazi soldier at a concentration camp. Right. So, true Jodie fashion, man alive, she makes you think so much in this book. But it is so beautiful. So beautiful. Pick that up. All right. My next kind of subject that I like to read about, I'm starting to dive into Civil War-ish times. I read The Underground Railroad, but I can't recommend it because I didn't like it. But I tried. The next one I read was The Kitchen House by Kathleen Grissom. This is fabulous. This follows a Irish immigrant who arrives, and basically her parents pass away on the boat. So when she gets to the port, was it the captain, or I think it was the captain. He basically adopts her, but has her live with his slaves. So you get to see that side of it. You get to see plantation life. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Pick that up. And the next one, not necessarily Civil War, but definitely civil rights. The Help by Catherine Stockett. If you haven't read this one, shame on you, go pick it up. It's fabulous, but for those who have, you'll agree with me. It's beautiful. Love it. 1962, Mississippi. Yeah, it's good. Okay, next time period I really, really enjoy is the Grand Old West, right? So we've got Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. Don't need to say more. Cattle Drive, total Cowboys, Indians. Fantastic book. It takes a while. Be patient, but it's worth it. Next one, I really got into learning again about kind of the, how do I say this? Well, they're both diaries. So it's These Is My Words, The Diary of Sarah Ignace Prine by Nancy Turner, and then 1,000 White Women, The Journals of May Dodd by Jim Fergus. Both of these women were captured by Indians. It's interesting. Diary style, so you have to make some assumptions with it, which I love, but I love a good book that's totally written like a diary. I feel like you really get inside their heads. I don't know if you can see that, but really fabulous books. Then I have The Diary of Maddie Spencer by Sandra Dallas. This, I believe, is more about her kind of growing up on the frontier, but still very, very good book. All right, next one is I love me some family chronicles, and so the Clifton Chronicles by Jeffrey Archer. I have two of them here. Only Time Will Tell, I believe, is the first one, and Sins of the Father, I think, is the second one. Yes, volume 2. It follows a man as he immigrates from, where is he from? So it follows Harry Clifton. He grew up with his father fighting in World War I. He was in a position where, does he fight for Hitler because he's from Germany, or does he try to go to school? It's been a while since I've read this one. I think I'm on like the 4th one or something so far, but it follows from that point forward. So he does immigrate to the United States. It's not a big spoiler, I don't think. And kind of his struggles, how he makes a name for himself, his family. It's fantastic. Jeffrey Archer is a wonderful, wonderful author. So there's my next one. Then I love historical fiction novels that are based upon real events. Love, love, love them, because I feel like you learn about it, especially if it's an author, and I do my research. Does this author do the appropriate research themselves? So I know for a fact these two do. They do fabulous research. And then looking into these 3 books I have to recommend, again, they did some really great research. So Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein follows the kind of movement between 1854 and 1929. So we have all of these immigrants coming over, and they're kind of settling out east. And the problem with immigrating to the United States from Europe is you're on a boat, and a lot of people actually pass away in the boat. So as a result, there's a whole lot of orphans on the East Coast. and a whole lot of families as you move west looking to adopt children. So they literally had trains, and they would pack all these orphans on this train, and they would start heading west, and they would make stops along the way. It's amazing. Told in dual time perspective, so you have present day and you have kind of them telling the story of what happened, but fabulous book. It's short, but man, it packs a punch. Then we have As Bright as Heaven by Susan Meisner. Yes, I've already talked about her, but she's just that good. This follows the family. It's during World War I, but they are on the home front and they are battling the Spanish flu, which was an epidemic like no other. And it follows this one family and how they deal with that. It's fabulous. Then we have Before We Were Yours. And if you've been watching my channel lately, I can't talk about this book enough, by Lisa Wingate. This follows the horrific events that happened in the 1930s and the Tennessee Children's Home Society orphanage. Basically, she did some bad stuff. This Georgia Tan's not a good woman. Nope. She saw that there was some profit to be made adopting babies to high society families who couldn't have children, and so she did whatever she could to get her hands on babies, whether that was kidnapping them, lying to mothers in hospitals. She did some nasty stuff, but this is a beautiful book, again told in dual times perspectives. That seems to happen a lot in historical fiction, but fabulous, fabulous book. Honorable mentions, anything by Kate Morton. Awesome books, love them as well. I think I've covered. I think it's a good stack, and we're pretty far into it. You know, if you don't find anything interesting here, hit me up. I'm sure I have something else I can recommend and give you an idea on. So I hope you love historical fictions as much as I do. I hope you get a couple of good ideas from this huge pile of books I just threw your way. If you have some favorite historical fictions that you haven't heard me talk about, you need to tell me about them because I need to read them. So leave a comment below, like, subscribe, and don't forget to hop over to Sarah at Sarah's Nightstand and Lisa at Books and Smiles and see what their recommendations are as well. So again, thanks for watching. Love seeing you every Thursday, and we'll see you next time.